Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another Minecraft video, and in this one we're going to be taking a look at something really quite special. For those who don't know, throughout the entire history of my YouTube channel, I've always been fairly interested in the self-building house. In fact, one of my most popular first videos was in fact of a self-building house, and I'll put a link to that one down in the description. However, I will just warn you, the commentary wasn't quite as good as it is currently. Then a couple years later, I decided to make another self-building house, and this is what you can see in front of you. It involved a bunch of fairly complicated redstone, we had some slime blocks going on, and it was pretty cool. In fact, it's now got over 1 million views on YouTube, which is extremely exciting, and I have to say, I'm fairly proud of this contraption. Now, if you're interested in the way that this thing works, if you hit this button right here, you should be able to see everything that happens. First off, all of the blocks are retracted from the floor, and then we wait a couple seconds, all of the piston feed tapes fire into action, the blocks are pushed through the floor, and then these silverfish over here get poisoned, and all of these silverfish blocks break, and it makes a ton of noise, and you get yourself a bit of a bug infestation. Now this was pretty cool, I really like the concept, but sadly, times have now changed. Things have got a lot less complicated, and now we can build them in a much simpler manner. Now I just want you to keep all of the redstone circuits of the previous clip in your mind right now, because when we spin around you're probably going to be quite surprised. Here it is. As you can see, absolutely no redstone lines. It's made entirely of pistons, glass and redstone blocks, and this is thanks to a discovery made by Mr. Red Nomster, who is a fantastic YouTuber, and he has built a lot of impressive things using this feature. This thing right here is incredibly small, and that's just to show off the concept, but as you can see, things have got much easier in the redstone department, and now it's incredibly simple to build self-building structures. So I'm sure a lot of you recognise this build right here. This is my Porter Loo. As you can see, we've got the toilet on the inside there, it's got a lid, we've got a door to get in, and it's decorated using fence posts and oak wood. It looks pretty nice, and what we're going to do is we're going to push it up through the floor using this button right here. So all we have to do is give it a press. You can see all of the blocks get broken pretty quickly, and then it just pops up like this. That's it, job done. Our Porter Loo is now up on the surface. We can make use of this thing, just sit inside there and do our business, and it's absolutely perfect. And as you can see, happens extremely quickly, and all of that redstone, surprisingly enough, actually seems to work. For those of you who are interested, I'm going to try my best to explain to you how this one works. Now, I will warn you, it's a tiny bit advanced, and I'm going to try my best to explain every single detail, but that might not go particularly well. So this uses a concept known as chain buds, and down at the bottom here, we actually have ourselves a single bud switch. So when we cause this piston update, as you can see, it extends and retracts, and that's pretty much the main mechanic this whole system is going to be using. So next to it, we have got like a slice of this little system right here, and what essentially happens is when we hit the button, water flows down all of these pistons. Now what happens then is it causes an update to this piston, which causes it to extend, leaving these blocks out like this. So it leaves them out there, and then the water flows past it, and it updates this piston. Now as you can see, that will push this piston up, and then that piston will be immediately updated, causing it to extend once again. So watch this, you ready? We place in the block, and it gets pushed up, and then this piston extends as well, meaning that we actually have an infinite piston extender going all the way upwards. So there we go, that is a self-building house in a nutshell. I'll put a bunch of links down in the description to awesome self-building structures, because I know you guys will want to check them out. And of course, I'll put a world download for this one down in the description. But now it is time to crack on with the tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how to build this thing. So to get things started, you want to head over to your floor area and work out how big your build is going to be. Now of course, I'm going to be recreating the Porter Loo, so that means that my build is 3x3 in size, so we're just going to take out all of that area. And then another thing that's worth pointing out is that your build can't really be more than 9 blocks in height, because otherwise the pistons aren't going to be able to push it up. So that's just something to keep in mind. But now you just have to construct your build just underneath the floor right here, and that is what's going to be pushed through. Next up, you have to fill in your build so there's absolutely no air spaces. Now thankfully the Porter Loo doesn't really have any air spaces. We've got our cauldron, we've got our trapdoor, that covers up all that area. The only airspace that we have is underneath this fence gate right here, and I'm filling that in with a carpet. Now of course, on bigger builds you might have massive gaps, massive areas of open space, so what you can do in those is you can fill in the entire space with carpets, and then when the player walks in for the first time, all they have to do is break the bottom layer, all of the carpets will pop off, and they'll all fall down onto the ground. I hate to be the bringer of bad news, but now you have to do just a tiny bit of maths. I know it's a pain in the backside, but it has to be done. So what you have to do is you have to take the height of your build, in this case that is 4 blocks. You've got to multiply it by 4, so that gives us 16. Then you have to take away 1, so that gives us 15 blocks in total. You then have to go 15 blocks from the bottom of your build, starting from this block right here, so that is 15 blocks down to this layer right here. You need to fill that in with pistons, so the full size of your build, all covered in pistons. Then you need to go glass, redstone blocks, glass, and then pistons, and then basically repeat that whole pattern. So it literally goes regular pistons, glass, redstone blocks, glass, regular pistons, glass, redstone blocks, glass, regular pistons, glass, and then redstone blocks. You will find that you actually come up a little bit short. You don't need the next set of glass blocks. Your redstone blocks should be in line with the bottom of your build, and that is the full extending mechanism. To actually fire this thing into action, all you have to do is chuck down a dispenser facing downwards here, throw a water bucket on the inside, then place an input on top, and that's everything done. If you just wanted to push through the floor like this, then that will actually do everything. That will be the full extension. If we hit this button now, that will pop up through the floor. But of course, as you saw in the beginning, I had like a really cool silverfish explosion tactic to push it through the floor so that there was blocks on top, then they got removed by the silverfish popping. So I'll quickly go and show you how to do this one, just in case you want to. First up, what's probably the biggest challenge in survival mode is you've got to get yourself a stone monster egg. Now, of course, because I'm in creative mode, I just have to chuck all of these in. However, in survival, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get silverfish from the silverfish spawner to go into blocks. You're then going to have to piston them all the way up to your location. Yeah, it's going to take a very long time indeed, so I do feel sorry for you there. But anyway, once that's all done, all you have to do is place a button down like this, diagonal to this dispenser right here. You're then going to chuck in a dispenser filled with potion and a redstone dust dots on top of that one. So that will power this dispenser here and also this dispenser as well. Then we're going to create a little container, and if you're in survival mode, once again, you are probably going to have a little bit of trouble with this one because you've now got to fill that up with silverfish, but because I'm in creative mode, I'm actually just going to chuck down a dispenser like this that is filled with spawn eggs, and we are going to spawn a few of those inside there, and that will be pretty much everything completed. What should in theory happen here is when we hit this button, all of these blocks should break and our build should pop up through the floor. That's what I'm hoping. Fingers crossed that I've done everything right here, because otherwise I'll be very upset indeed. So here goes, we hit the button. Good, that's a good sign, and our build is coming up through, and there it is. That is everything done. All of the pistons extended. Our Porter Loo has popped up through the floor. We now have a bunch of silverfish to deal with, but this thing is looking fantastic. So there we have it, guys. That is how to build a self-building house in Minecraft. I hope that you found that useful. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.